Don't tell anyone. Listen to this for 2 minutes and money will appear out of nowhere. Prayer for money. Don't tell anyone. Seriously, I mean it. What you're about to hear isn't meant for everyone. There's a reason this secret has been hidden for centuries, passed down quietly through generations. Today, you're about to uncover it. This is no ordinary prayer. This is a divine command, an invisible key that can unlock provision in your life, provision that doesn't make sense by human logic. It's not about years of sacrifice or endless sweat. No. All it takes is 2 minutes. 2 minutes for the entire sky to shift in your favor. If you're not ready, if you're not truly prepared, stop right here. But if you're ready to silence your doubts, ready to open your heart, then keep going. This prayer for money is not found in the typical books. You won't hear it preached in public gatherings. It's not something you'll find taught on a mass scale. It has been kept secret, quietly preserved through ancient writings, passed from one believer to another. Why? Because to the unbeliever, it may sound like nothing more than empty words. But to the one who believes, it's a source of unseen power, capable of changing everything. Take a moment. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe slowly. Don't try to analyze it. Don't try to figure it out. Let your heart receive what your mind cannot understand. This is not a fairy tale. It's a living truth, one that has been experienced, lived, and witnessed by countless people throughout history. There are those who've prayed this prayer and seen their entire lives turned around in an instant. Money came from places they didn't expect. Old debts were wiped away. Doors that were locked opened. The mundane gave way to the supernatural. Some might say, that's too fast, too impossible, too irrational. But those who believe, those with real faith, know this. Nothing is too fast for God. He doesn't need 10 years to work a miracle. He needs a moment. And these 2 minutes are your moment. Perhaps your faith feels weak right now. Maybe your fear is louder than your hope. Maybe you've grown accustomed to sleepless nights, bills stacking up, an empty fridge, and the red numbers flashing on your banking app. I get it. I've been there. But it's exactly in those moments of weakness, when you feel you've hit rock bottom, that this prayer for money arrives, not to soothe you temporarily, but to turn everything around. This isn't just a request, this is an activation. When you speak it with sincerity, the universe shifts to work in your favor. Resources begin to rearrange themselves to bring you what you need. You'll see money show up in ways that defy reason. Opportunities will appear where there seemed to be none. What was once blocked will begin to flow freely. Let me be clear, do not share this lightly. Don't turn this into a joke. Don't treat it as an experiment. This is sacred. It's private. It's for those who are ready to receive it, for those who take it seriously. If you take it lightly, it won't work. But if you honor it, if you practice it with true faith, you will see a difference. Right now, as an act of faith, write down these words: I receive invisible abundance right now. This is not just a random statement. It's the first step toward unlocking everything you need. And believe me, when you speak these words, the power of the universe begins to move on your behalf. As Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. When you trust with all your heart, when you surrender fully, you activate a force far greater than anything you could do on your own. In today's world, we're often overwhelmed by the noise of trying to survive, trying to make ends meet, trying to stay afloat. But this prayer for money, this financial prayer, isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving, about connecting to a divine source of provision that works beyond human limitations. It's not a matter of luck or chance, it's about faith and trust in the unseen. As Jesus said in Mark 11:24, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." It's in that belief, that unwavering faith, that the power of this prayer begins to work miracles. This isn't just a prayer, it's a declaration that you trust in divine provision, that you trust in something greater than what you can see. And once you step into that trust, once you let go of the fear and doubt, you'll start to see the doors open, the opportunities come, and the money you need begin to flow. Nothing is impossible for God. When you believe, everything is possible. So, take this moment, honor this prayer, practice it with reverence, and watch how it transforms your life. Remember those words, "I receive invisible abundance right now." They are your first key, the key to unlocking everything you need. Hold on to them, keep them close, and watch as your life begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. When you speak or write a prayer for financial breakthrough with sincere faith, you're making a powerful declaration to the heavens. You're telling the universe you're ready to receive what has always been meant for you, opening the gates to unseen provision that has been waiting to flow into your life. You might wonder, how can just 2 minutes make a difference? How can a simple prayer shake the very foundations of my reality? Let me explain it like this. Imagine standing before a giant, unmovable door. You've tried everything, pushed, pulled, knocked, and begged, but nothing works. Then someone hands you a key, and when you turn it, the door swings wide open. No years of strength training, no endless effort. You just needed the right key. That 2-minute prayer is that key, small, precise, and perfectly suited for the moment. You might be thinking, but I've prayed before. Why is this different? And you're right, prayer is powerful. But the key difference here is not just asking, but commanding. Regular prayers are petitions, seeking and asking for help. But a prayer for finances, especially when it's connected to your identity and divine authority, speaks from a place of power. It's not about begging or pleading. It's about declaring your right to receive. When you speak from a place of deep knowing, when you stand in the truth of who you are, someone loved, empowered, and authorized by God, your words have authority. They are not just words in the air. They're commands that activate divine currents in your life. You might fear that your faith is too small, and that's okay. Start with whatever truth you can grasp. You're alive. Your breath is proof that God has kept you until this very moment. From that small spark of truth, build your trust and faith. You don't need to be perfect to begin this journey. You only need to be real. Speak, even when you feel weak. Now, let's break it down into 3 simple steps. First, find stillness. Silence your phone, step away from distractions, and center yourself. Take a deep breath in for 4 counts, hold it for 4, and then exhale slowly for 6 counts. Do this 3 times. Let go of the external noise so you can hear the quiet of your heart. Next, confess. Say out loud, "I've let fear control my life for too long. I've based my worth on numbers. But today, I take back control. From now on, I receive divine abundance, and I trust that my financial breakthrough is on its way." You may feel uncertain. What if nothing happens in those 2 minutes? Remember this: a farmer never digs up a seed to see if it's growing. Faith works the same way. Some miracles appear instantly, while others take time to manifest. But what always shifts in that moment is your inner world. Fear loses its grip, and peace begins to fill the space. It's that peace that acts like a magnet, drawing opportunities closer, If you're worried about your debts, your bills, or your finances feeling overwhelming, I hear you. I know it can seem like the numbers are too big to overcome. But here's the truth. The numbers are not your masters. They do not have the power to define your future. The 2-minute prayer isn't some magical formula. It's an invitation for God to step into your financial life and work miracles you could never have imagined. When God touches your finances, no door is too locked, no chain too strong. Trust in that divine power. Why keep this prayer for finances secret? Because sacred things need protection. What is holy becomes diluted when exposed too casually. Secrecy is not about hiding. It's about respecting the depth and power of what you're calling forth. Just like roots are protected to ensure a tree grows strong, your sacred prayers need space to grow, to develop, and to bear fruit. If you're waiting for a sign to start, consider this your sign. You're hearing these words for a reason, not by accident, but because your heart is ready to receive. You are hearing this at the perfect moment, not because you're special, but because God has chosen you, and your heart has opened at the right time. Before moving forward, take a moment to make a vow with God. Promise that you will stay silent and keep this sacred prayer close to your heart. Do not boast. Do not make light of this powerful practice. Instead, commit to practicing it with faith, believing that the door will open. The specifics may not be clear. You don't need to know whether it will be a financial gift, a new opportunity, or even an unexpected phone call. What you need is to agree in your heart that you are opening the door for your miracle to enter. Trust that it's already on its way. So, how will you begin? Will you let fear hold you back? Or will you step into the divine flow of abundance, every prayer, every moment of stillness, and every word you declare is a seed that, when watered with faith, will bring a harvest of blessings. Let this be the prayer that transforms your financial situation. And may you always remember that God is with you in every step of this journey. Let me tell you something throughout history. Only a few have been trusted with this knowledge. Kings, prophets, and wise leaders understood this secret. They guarded it carefully because they knew its immense power. If it fell into the hands of someone who mocked or doubted, it would lose its strength. But in the hands of those who truly believe, it becomes unstoppable. This prayer for money is the key to unlocking miracles in your life. You might think, how can just 2 minutes really make such a difference? The answer is simple but profound. This isn't the power of man, it's the activation of divine authority. Think about it, the same God who spoke and created everything from nothing, the one who commanded light to shine and the seas to form. This is the same God who can turn your financial situation around. He is the one who multiplied bread to feed thousands, who turned water into wine. When he moves, no limitation can stop him. Let me ask you this. Do you believe in the power of your words? Do you believe that when you speak in faith, the universe listens? This is the law of attraction at work, the principle that like attracts like. When you speak abundance into your life with the prayer for financial miracle, the universe begins to align with your belief. It might not happen overnight, but trust me, the seeds you plant today will grow. You might find that debts begin to disappear, unexpected checks arrive, or doors that were once closed suddenly open. I know someone who once said, "It felt like reality itself bent to make room for me." That's what happens when the invisible key is turned. Miracles happen, not because of human effort, but because of divine intervention. The universe has a way of rearranging itself when we speak in alignment with God's will. Your declaration is the key to unlocking financial blessings, and trust me, once that key is turned, there is no going back. But remember, don't tell anyone. Keep this secret between you and heaven. Believe in the power of your words, and continue acting in faith. With every prayer for money and every declaration of abundance, you are shifting the very fabric of your reality. When you step into the law of attraction, you step into a flow of prosperity that cannot be stopped. So, I ask you again, are you ready to activate the invisible key in your life? Because it is waiting for you. And the moment you say, yes, the universe is ready to move. The 2-minute prayer is the tool through which you invite Him to move in your financial life. You are not forcing God to act. You are opening a legal door for Him to operate through your faith. Let me explain with an image. Imagine you stand before a huge locked door made of iron. You have tried to push it, pull it, kick it open. You are tired. Then someone hands you a small golden key. You insert it, turn once, and the door swings open effortlessly. You didn't break the door. You didn't fight it. You simply had the right key. The 2-minute prayer is that key, small, simple, but it fits perfectly. Many people spend years working harder trying to force change through effort alone. But spiritual principles do not respond to effort. They respond to alignment. When your words, faith, and intention align with divine truth, the invisible becomes visible. This is the hidden science of the Spirit. Every word you speak is a vibration. Every sentence carries frequency, and faith gives that vibration direction. When you combine the vibration of your words with the energy of belief, you release commands into the unseen world. These commands don't disappear. They travel outward, touch what cannot be seen, and return with visible results. That's why the Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. Your words are not just sounds, they are building blocks. Now you may ask, if it's so powerful, why don't people talk about it? Because most people would turn it into entertainment or superstition. They would misuse it for greed or manipulation. This is why the ancients kept it hidden, not out of selfishness, but out of reverence. What you hold now is not magic. It's not a charm. It's not some spiritual trick. It is the lawful operation of faith inside the unseen realm. Faith is the electricity. The prayer is the switch. If you flip the switch, without electricity, nothing happens. But when faith flows through the wire, the light comes on. Without faith, your words are plastic. With faith, they are fire. You must treat this key as treasure. Handle it with respect. Keep it private. Speak it with intention, never casually. Every time you use it, do it with full focus and sincerity, as if heaven itself is listening, because it is. There are 3 principles you must understand before activating it. First, faith doesn't begin in your emotions. You might not feel powerful when you say it. You might even feel doubtful. But faith is not a feeling. It is a choice. It is deciding that God's truth is more real than your fear. Second, words don't create power. They release it. The power already exists in God. Your words are the delivery system that releases it into your circumstances. Third, timing belongs to heaven. Some results will appear instantly, others in due time. Never dig up the seed to check if it's growing. Let me tell you what happens in the unseen when you say this prayer. The moment you speak, your words travel as light through the spiritual dimension. They move toward the situation that concerns you, your finances, your debt, your opportunities. They attach themselves to the promise of God and begin to rearrange everything around that promise. Angels move, ideas arrive, favor opens, people's hearts are stirred, systems shift. Everything begins to realign quietly to bring the answer into your visible world. You might still feel the same for a few hours or a few days, but the process has already begun. Think of it as a transfer in motion, a wire being sent from heaven to your account. There are people who testified that after praying this, within days, they received phone calls about long-delayed payments. Others saw new job offers appear unexpectedly. Some opened their banking app and found deposits they didn't anticipate. All of them said the same thing. It was as if the universe was rearranged in my favor. This prayer works because it bypasses the noise of fear and activates the authority of faith. Fear prays from desperation. Faith prays from dominion. Fear says, "Please help me." Faith says, "It is done." And heaven responds to faith. The 2-minute prayer you are about to receive is simple, but don't mistake simplicity for weakness. God hides the greatest power in the smallest forms. The same way an entire tree hides inside a single seed, the power of breakthrough hides inside this short prayer. Before you say it, prepare yourself. Turn off distractions. Sit quietly. Take 3 deep breaths. On the first, let go of fear. On the second, let go of control. On the third, open your heart. Then in a calm voice begin. Father in heaven, Creator of all things, I open my life to your provision. I release my worries, my debts, my fears. I receive your abundance now. I command every closed door to open. I command every delayed blessing to be released. Let your divine supply flow into every area of my life. Let opportunities appear, debts be cleared, and peace return. I believe it is done. Amen. However, let me remind you, repetition without belief is just noise. It's like trying to drive a car without the engine running. You won't get anywhere. The power of a prayer doesn't lie in how often you say it, but in the sincerity and conviction behind it. One prayer, spoken with true faith and belief, has the ability to move mountains. Remember this: a prayer for a financial miracle or a money prayer, said with deep conviction, can do more than 1,000 empty words ever could. So, what should you expect after you speak this prayer? Well, sometimes the answer might come in the form of money. Sometimes it shows up as an unexpected opportunity, or even as a person who suddenly remembers you, offering you exactly what you need. But before anything else, the answer might come in a more subtle form. Peace. Yes, that's right. Peace. That peace is a powerful sign. It's the signal that heaven is already at work, that something bigger than you is unfolding. When your heart feels calm, you know that the spiritual doors have opened, and that's when movement begins. Emails will come, phone calls, offers, ideas, solutions, things you didn't see coming but were already set in motion. You don't need to predict the how, just trust that it's happening. Each time you speak this prayer, it's like sending a command into the unseen world. You're telling the universe to rearrange itself in alignment with your divine abundance. And here's the incredible part: the unseen world listens and obeys the divine order. That's why this prayer isn't something to be taken lightly. It's not about superstition or wishful thinking. It's sacred, spiritual technology, a structure designed by God Himself to respond to faith-filled words. When you understand that, you realize you've never been powerless. You were simply holding the wrong key all this time. Now, you've found the right one. So, what do you do with this new key tonight? As you prepare to rest, dim the lights and place your hand over your chest. Whisper the prayer just once, but speak it with sincerity. Let the words flow like a wave, carrying away your fears and doubts. Visualize your debts dissolving. Imagine doors opening wide and see your phone lighting up with good news. Don't rest in anxiety, rest in expectation. When you wake up tomorrow, thank God in advance as though it's already done. Gratitude is the language of completed miracles. If you make this a daily practice, you'll start noticing strange occurrences, coincidences, you might call them, but believe me, they're not coincidences at all. They are confirmations. The system of heaven is responding to your voice. The invisible key doesn't only unlock money, it unlocks peace, freedom, favor, and a new way of seeing the world. It transforms your perspective from one of begging to one of believing, from one of fear to one of command, from one of waiting to one of walking. You're no longer waiting for something to happen. You're actively creating the life you want. This key is powerful, so keep it close. Use it reverently and speak it only with the utmost respect. Keep it between you and heaven. When you're ready, we'll move forward to the next stage, where you'll witness how this prayer has already transformed real lives around the world and how it can transform yours too. Now, I want to share with you a few real-life stories. Stories of people just like you who were tired, struggling, and at the end of their ropes, but who took just 2 minutes to speak this prayer with true faith. And you'll see what happened next. Because faith isn't just a theory, it's a real, tangible force. And when faith is put into action, it brings real, tangible results. Take David, for example. For months, he had lived under the heavy burden of debt. His bank account was negative, bills piled up, and every morning he woke with that tight, anxious feeling in his chest, unsure of how he would make it through another week. He worked tirelessly, took on extra side jobs, but no matter what he did, it never seemed like enough. One night, exhausted and on the brink of giving up, he came across the 2-minute prayer. He almost dismissed it, thinking it couldn't possibly work. But something deep within him whispered, what if it could? So, he decided to try. That night, he whispered the prayer with sincerity, then went to sleep, not expecting any immediate change. 2 days later, David received an unexpected call from his former employer. They informed him that an old project allowance had just been approved, and a transfer was on its way. When he checked his account, the deposit was almost exactly the amount needed to pay off his bills. David didn't chalk it up to coincidence. He knew, in that moment, that heaven had answered his prayer. It wasn't a miracle, he said. It was divine alignment. And then there's Maria, a single mother of 2 young children. She worked 3 jobs, yet still couldn't make ends meet. Fear had become part of her daily routine. She had prayed countless times before, but it always felt like nothing changed. When she heard about the 2-minute prayer, she laughed it off. How could 2 minutes make any difference? But curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to try. That night, she took a deep breath and said the prayer slowly, letting each word settle into her heart. There were no fireworks, no dramatic moments, just a profound sense of peace. 3 days later, Maria received an email that changed everything: a job offer, a much-needed opportunity, and a financial breakthrough. Now, you may be wondering, how could something so simple, so quick, create such dramatic change? The answer is simple faith. When you speak these words with genuine belief, you are tapping into a force that transcends the material world. The prayer for financial miracles and the law of attraction don't just open doors to wealth. They open doors to peace, freedom, and abundance in all areas of life. Are you ready to step into this reality, to trust that this sacred prayer can transform your life the same way it has transformed countless others, because the key to unlock all that you desire is already in your hands. It's up to you to use it with faith, with conviction, and with the belief that the universe is waiting to respond. Imagine a woman who had been struggling for months. She had applied for a job, and after months of silence, she got the call. The company wanted her, and not just any job, a position that would pay enough to clear her debts and provide her children with stability. She couldn't help but cry when she shared her story. But it wasn't just about the money. It was a sign that God had not forgotten her. Have you ever had a moment when something unexpected came into your life, and you knew, deep down, it was a blessing you didn't even expect? Then there's Aaron's story. A man in his 40s who had lost his job a year ago. He had sunk into a dark place, feeling hopeless. The depression took over. He stopped calling his friends. He stopped applying for work. He even stopped believing anything could change. When he first heard about the prayer for financial miracles, he scoffed. Words can't fix my life, he thought. But everything changed one night. After seeing his wife cry quietly in the kitchen, something inside him broke. That was when he whispered the prayer, not with certainty, but with surrender. God, if you're real, show me. And the next day, he ran into an old friend who led him to a job opportunity. Within a week, Aaron was working again, earning more than he had before. It wasn't luck, he realized later. It was a door that opened when I let go of control. Sometimes, the hardest part is letting go. Do you ever feel like you're trying to control everything around you? What would happen if you let go for just a moment? These stories share one common thread, an act of faith. Not just any faith, but a belief that heaven listens. Miracles don't come from a magical formula or an instant fix. Miracles begin when we believe. They begin with a simple prayer for financial miracles, a prayer for divine intervention, and an openness to receive what is already meant for us. It's about aligning your words, your heart, and your beliefs to create a pathway for heaven to respond. Let me tell you about Grace. She was in her 60s, widowed and living alone. Her pension barely covered the bills, and she worried every day about rent, medicine, and how to make ends meet every night. She tossed and turned in worry, her mind consumed with fears of what tomorrow might bring. One evening, Grace decided to pray, not for money, but for peace. She poured her heart out, asking for relief from her constant anxiety. That night, for the first time in years, she slept peacefully. The next morning, she found a letter in her mailbox. Her landlord had decided to lower her rent permanently. Grace was speechless. "The miracle began while I slept," she said. "God fixed things I didn't even ask for." Isn't it incredible to think that sometimes the greatest miracles come when we stop focusing on the problem and instead ask for the peace to handle it? Have you ever experienced that kind of peace that feels like a miracle in itself? You see, miracles aren't always dramatic or loud. We often expect them to come with fireworks and a bang. But the truth is, most miracles begin quietly. They unfold through the ordinary events of our lives, moments that may seem insignificant at the time, but have extraordinary timing. A phone call, a chance meeting, a long-lost favor coming back to you. Heaven works in the silence, but its fingerprints are everywhere. And while you may not always see instant financial gain or money appear out of nowhere, one thing you can always expect is peace. After you say the prayer, something inside you changes. It's like you breathe deeper, your mind quiets, and the weight of your worries lifts. That peace, however, isn't random. It's a sign that the spiritual process has already begun. When peace enters, it's like a door opening in your life, and when that door opens, provision flows in. Can you feel that shift within you when you pray and let go of control? You might wonder if something like this can really happen for you. You might be thinking, this sounds nice, but can it really work for me? The answer is yes. This prayer isn't reserved for a specific group of people or tied to a particular religion. It's a key anyone can turn. regardless of where you are in life. Whether you're a student, a parent, someone struggling to find your footing, or someone who feels like they've lost everything, the law of faith works the same way for everyone. You just need to believe it's possible. When you pray with sincerity, your words are no longer just noise, they become light, and light always finds a way through the darkness. Imagine this: you're sitting there, thinking that nothing is changing, when in fact, everything is already in motion. Someone miles away suddenly remembers your name. A payment gets approved for something you thought was impossible. A job opportunity appears out of nowhere. You don't see it yet, but heaven is working on your behalf. The miracle has been in progress for days before you even realize it. Do you ever wonder how the universe works behind the scenes, lining up events just for you? This is where faith becomes a powerful force. Miracles happen when you let go of the doubt and fear. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't even need to believe perfectly. You just need to mean it. When your heart aligns with your words, you open yourself up to divine provision. The moment you let go of control and surrender to the process, that's when things begin to change. It's not about how long the prayer is or how eloquent your words are. It's about the intention behind them. Have you ever noticed that when you truly believe, things start shifting without you even trying, as you pray for financial miracles or simply for peace in your life? Remember this: miracles don't just happen to some people. They happen to anyone who opens their heart and believes that heaven is listening. The more you align yourself with faith and gratitude, the more doors begin to open. And when you start expecting good things, those good things begin to appear in your life. This is the law of attraction in action. Your positive energy and belief bring the blessings closer to you. And the more you thank heaven for what's coming, the more it multiplies. So, tonight, if you're feeling lost or stuck, take just 2 minutes. 2 minutes of honesty, 2 minutes of surrender. Whisper the prayer for financial miracles. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be grand. Just say it with a willing heart. I open myself to divine provision. I receive what has been waiting for me. Sit quietly and feel the peace that follows. That peace is the confirmation that heaven has heard you. And then, expect it. Expect the unexpected. Expect that message, that call, that transfer, that open door. Because once you've prayed with intention, your miracle is already in motion. And as you continue on this journey, you'll find that miracles are no longer just a rare occurrence. They become part of your daily life. Your story will become part of a bigger story, one where answered prayers, divine timing, and breakthroughs are the rhythm, not the exception. Who knows, your story might be next. You might soon be sharing with someone else. I don't know how, but something changed after I prayed.